deep, we'll explore it all. Absolute weird science. Absolute weird science.
Welcome back to another absolutely thrilling installment of Absolute Weird Science. I'm joining the party, Eric Shea.
And I'm Jim Warner.
And this is episode number 13.
Yeah, I think I messed up the beginning again, Eric. I don't get it. I end up hitting, like, it says to start in this one thing, and then it says in the other thing it started, and then luckily both times I'm there, and then all of a sudden this thing pops up. After it says it's start, it pops up and says, do you want to go live? Like, I just,
yes, please.
I said, I just started it, you jerks. And then I think the song probably comes in like a couple lines in. I mean, not lines, words, so at least they, get the most of it, Eric. I know that they're pining for that. And then maybe by the end of the stream, we'll end up having a fancy song. It'll be funny. But
fancy?
Yeah, fancy. With all that, though, welcome to our Absolute Weird Science deal, and we're going to be talking about Absolute Batman number 5.
It's for lovers.
It is. I was going to say that this is for like the Lonely Hearts Club. The idea that people, it is, as we're recording it live on YouTube at 7:15 p.m. on our channel every time a book comes out. It is Valentine's Day, and that's where I realized, and I kind of got depressed yesterday. We did our Patreon Spotlight, and we're talking, you're like, man, nobody's going to show up. First off, you're like really shading anybody who shows up now, right? So the idea,
what are you doing here?
The idea, though, when you say this, I end up like, what's going on? Because of the idea that what's it called? I didn't even realize that it was. I'm a loser, Eric. I'm a sad sack. I didn't even realize. I'm like, Valentine's Day. I mean, what's happening there? I don't get it. But in the meantime, here we are. We're going to be talking about but I'm telling you, it's fine with me. And today, as a Valentine's deal, this legit is the 5th show I've done today, and he's in the chat. You know him, you love him. It is Gray from Wakazashi's Tales. So I'm going to be talking with him tonight on his channel. I think we're starting at like 11 at night. So when we're done this, I'm going to go take an old man nap. No, well, it's my time. I think it's Sunday morning. I don't know.
Sunday morning,
Saturday afternoon. It's crazy, that Japanese stuff. But we're going to be doing. He says it's Saturday morning here in the land of the rising sun as he's chatting now. We're going to be talking about the Avengers movie. I did tell you that at the one point where he's like, hey, do you want to join in the panel? And I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And then I'm like, panel? What the hell's he that? I went and looked. I'm like, thank God.
You're doing stuff.
Thank God that is something that I watch, because I struggle with movies. I struggle with life.
You've watched it, but I don't think you've watched it in the last decade.
It hasn't been a while. How much do I need, Eric? He's asking me to come for
enough to be on a
for
panel.
My charisma is why I'm showing up. Yeah, that's what he wants.
I keep asking you to bring that.
Yeah, really. That's why I thought you were that. That's why I bring you. You're the charisma of all this, and it's growing like wildflowers, Eric. But here we are.
Wildflowers.
I'm telling you, that was a line actually from the Corsican Brothers movie from way back, I believe, Cheech and Chong joint, possibly. I can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't bother watching that one.
Yeah, it was okay. And it's like, oh, your charisma is growing. And he's like, it's just a weird line, but here we are. I'm telling you, I have a headache. It's so bad, I can't turn my head. I'm like you. Remember at times when you went into work and you had like the Frankenstein where you couldn't move each way? Well, that's how I feel right now. And I'm in this dark coffin like room, and the TV monitor is so bright. It hurts, Eric. It hurts as much as the pain of being alone on Valentine's Day. But I think that's a pain that we're all enjoying together. I'm not alone. I'm with everybody else. But here we are. And as we usually start off, we talk about kind of the lay of the land of these absolute books, and the Batman especially. We were down with last issue. We had enjoyed the first 3 issues, but issue 4 kind of going back and
let's stop all momentum in this book that people are enjoying, just going balls to the wall, action nonstop, learning about the absolute Batman. And let's just take it back for a short set with, like, I don't want to harp on the art, but worse art and a story that really just kills the momentum of anything you wanted to see from the absolute Batman from issue number 3 on.
Don't talk. That art is like a triggering thing. People like lose their mind on it. I didn't like it. We're back to the Nick Dragotta art here, but yeah, it just,
and it looks great.
It put the brakes on the momentum. And hey, what did Bruce do? Now, when we find out what he did, I'm like, really? But we'll get to that. In the meantime, the Wonder Woman book, that seems to be kind of like getting a little like once we're I know you're gonna say it, but we got rid of the Tetracide.
Done with the Floor Killer, Jim. We can move forward now.
Every time you say it, I swear
the Floor Killer's behind us.
I swear you're like saying the Floor Killer, and I'm like, I could be called that at points. I ruined some of our floors here. No, it just reminds me of that. But then Superman is the one that everybody seems to be divided the most on. And in the idea, like some people really like it. Me and you are kind of in the middle, but boy, some people hate it. Like can't stand it. They don't want any
some people
parts
hate
of it.
all of these books.
Well, yeah, I think that's the truth. But there's people who even like, say, the Batman, but they're just like, oh my God. And some of it seems to be Jason Aaron hate. Some of it is just the slow pacing, seeing Krypton, as we say. But also not really getting, I mean, some of the legit complaints that we've had, even, we want more Superman. We want to see more Superman in the here and now. Some people just go with this idea of like, oh man, they're saying Krypton got taken down because of like global warming. And does that's kind of always been, it's always been a planetary destruction that came from
an unstable core.
An unstable core, but also it's always been pushed that they kind of worked it to the bone too, that they weren't very nice to the planet there. Worked it to the bone. But yeah, so it was weird that's like the big play. And then some people just don't like the guy's hair. Which, all right.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
That's some people really don't like the look of Flash. I saw that, and that Martian Manhunter, I don't even know what the hell that is. But we'll see when those books come out. But here we are. We have Batman, and what we were wanting is, hey, well, let's get back to the story. Let's get back and see what Batman does. Because Batman taking, $200 million or whatever the crazy amount.
Black Mask has offered the Batman $200 million to pretty much stand down and join the party.
Yeah, and it's a weird play of what exactly Black Mask. It was that idea of Alfred, saying, hey, they want to stop hurting people. They just want everything to settle down. If you take this money, then they'll stop killing. You have the money. You can make everything bigger and better and go after them with the money even. So this would be a great idea. When Batman does what he does and goes with that, I'm like, I don't know. Like, he got the money. It's weird. It's very odd.
When we get, you have the credits for this?
I'll give the credits. It is Absolute Batman #5, written by Scott Snyder, art by Nick Dragotta, colors by Frank Martin, and letters by Clayton Coles. And
the idea that we have Batman, the idea that we don't know who this Batman is, pretty much, because the absolute universe, a universe that is built on, the energy of Darkseid, a universe without hope, that it's a lot darker than anything you know from your main continuity DC
I'm
comics.
Colorblind, Eric. I don't know that.
That's weird. Okay. But the idea that you have this universe you don't know much about yet, and, Batman is going to get $200 million. What's he going to do with this money? He has to go and meet with the Black Mask. He's going to have this money funneled to his account anonymously. He's going to actually take that money. Somehow he got it all in cash, even though it was funneled through the internet or whatnot, but he got it all in cash. It's $200 million. And it almost speaks to the idea of what you expect from the Batman that we know from the main DC continuity. The idea that he'll burn the money bright into a gigantic bat symbol. He'll inspire the city by showing them what this face of the Roman Sionis is here. The idea of what Black Mask is going to do, how he's going to kill people, how he's going to create all of this chaos. And he does all of this. But in this world, it seems like even though he's going to burn the money, shine the bat symbol beacon high into the sky, normally this would get everybody rallied around the Batman. They're going to take it to the streets. They're going to freaking be all about what Batman has to do to save Gotham. When Batman is defeated in this, essentially we just have Black Mask continue on with the spiel about what it means in this Gotham City with what they're going to do. You can either fight against us and die painfully, or you can have the greatest pleasure of your life and just let this city die, and everybody can join the party, just like we offered the Batman over here.
My goodness.
So here's a shit ton of money, here's a mask, and here's some weapons. Let's go fucking hog wild here.
There's some weird plays. Again, it's the cash. I swear to God, he's setting up. He wants to just film a rap video, sitting there making it rain. But when he does this, the thing that I thought was crazy is, number one, Black Mask. We don't really know how undercover he's been. A hot mic, I don't think would ever. The guy is not trying to look like the softer side of anything. I mean, you see this guy, and the joke that I keep thinking is the idea, there's somebody who hears this and says, oh my God, you mean that Black Mask guy that I always see at Walmart? He's always getting the groceries with me, and he's bad. I mean, the guy is a monstrosity. He looks great, and then he's got a Twi'lek baby, and then that machine gun touting deal, and then that woman. Like, I don't think he's really that concerned. I think Batman should realize he's not that concerned with anybody knowing anything. It's
not something that's going to affect him at this point.
No, it really doesn't matter to him.
Because
he doesn't
he's going to
care.
go on and kill, and now he's just going to speak to the people as a whole. The idea, like, hey, you could be like the Batman who was just terribly freaking killed as far as he knows, or you can just, join the party, get millions of dollars. We're going to have stashes throughout the city, all in these streets. Take up a mask, take up a bat, take up $1 million.
Why not?
Have a good time. This city is going to die no matter what. Do you want to die with it, or do you want to go out and have some fun?
And actually plays the games of saying, hey, all the rich get the money. Why don't you're going to get the money? It's basically the purge.
The idea that you play the Black Mask hand on this, because in this darker universe, this bad guy is going to win out. You have all this Batman who's trying to inspire hope. The idea of the selflessness, this justice for all, but nobody cares here because they'd rather just get rich and take it to the man. And
Batman just wasted all that money.
Sure did.
And seriously, they have, I don't know if you got the extra special edition. There's one more page where Batman jumps into the Batmobile and says, I'm getting all the money because now he needs it. He's like, oh shit, this didn't work. And I burned all that money. It goes, it was just a weird play. And the idea tying it in again. Now, this had, again, and most of the issues have had flashbacks. This is how we wanted it all along. Last issue was just too much. It just, ended up ruining the momentum with not giving us a ton of things. But, I like this. And I think that you get some Scott Snyder stuff. His dick prints are in it, where he ends up where he's the guy who's like, nobody's ever talked about Bruce getting rabies shots. He goes to the bats. I'm like, did we need that? But it was kind of funny. And I really like the idea of them being cute with Dr. Tompkins and stuff.
It is. It's a nice little bit for after the attack that killed his father at the zoo, where he has to go and get a shot because of the bats that attacked him in there. And the idea that you have this back and forth between Gordon and himself as a child. Yeah. The idea that now with all the things that are going on for all these years, originally they were going to tear down the zoo and make something else there because of the tragedy that happened in Gotham. But Bruce says, I don't want that to happen. You were talking about my father as a signal in the darkness, a shining light with his bravery. I want there to be a shining light down there. And because of everything that's going on in Gotham right now, they have decided we are not shining the freaking signal of hope anymore, like on the anniversary of, Thomas Wayne's death. And this is upsetting Bruce to the point where he wanted this as a child. He got it as a child, even though they're not the millionaires or billionaires the Waynes to be in this universe. The city built this in recognition of a man who laid down his life for school children.
It is a little too much, though. I mean, the shining light, it's kind of over the top, but it's fine.
But the idea that we're not going to have this now, and Bruce Wayne is going to use the money to actually create a flaming bat signal in the sky to be the shining beacon of hope that was not allowed to be lit up this year, and because of the party animals.
Again, the party animals. So he's going to use the money to now. There's a little bit of a snafu in the plan. And I don't think he thought of this at a time. I don't know if you caught it as nobody's going to know what the fuck that symbol is. It doesn't even look like a bat. It looks like a big blob.
Well, even Black Mass says like that is the worst bat symbol I've ever seen.
It's the way he's like, that's the only one I've seen. Like it's so bad. It doesn't look like anything. I'm looking at it right now. He's like, shit. Like he really wasted that money. He's like,
it looks like a spiky blimp in the sky.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's like, oh my God, like, I need inspiration. Oh, that big bulbous black thing in this. I think that's doing it. And go with the idea that Batman is kind of new on the scene and hasn't done too much. Like, I don't think anybody knows what the hell that is. They're just like,
they've been talking a lot about the Batman on the news. The police are all after me. Even with the party animals on the street, he is still public enemy number one.
And that doesn't even, I mean, you see a symbol and then you go, I'm like, yeah, it looks like somebody's done a little stretching. And it looks like your tattoo that you have, Eric, of Green Goblin. The thing is a wreck.
I feel like you've seen it one time and just exaggerate every time you talk about it.
This is the thing. Some things you just can't unsee. That might be one of them. All I remember is this globulous green and purple thing. I had no idea what it was. No, it looked okay. Though, the problem with it is, and I'm making the joke, is maybe, you're fatty or something. It's not that. Aww. It's that your mom let you get it when you were like 6. This thing is ancient. Holy moly. Green Goblin. How dare you? You're on a DC podcast. I always say you're a DC
I was a
guy.
Marvel kid. What do you want from me?
You jerk. Tattoo. But yeah, so
Spider-Man and the Green Goblin.
and you do see his buddies are there at the funeral and things like that. But I really like Leslie when she's like, you start growing fangs or pointy ears, mister. You call me right away. It's such a cute little moment. And he's like, okay, Dad. He's laughing and she's caressing him. Very odd. But you end up where it goes forward. And that's when he talks to Gordon. And Gordon says, most people aren't heroes, but your dad really was. I wanted Bruce to be like, yeah, what did they get him? a coffin and a glass of water. In the meantime, he is going to...
A glass of water?
Yeah, a glass of water. He ends up going to... He's thirsty. He's dead.
Uh-huh.
But you end up where then Batman goes, and the big play is Alfred has put a tracker on him to make sure he does this. Now, Alfred, throughout this issue, and then at the end, really starts to kind of be a dick and also kind of sus about the deal. And then you realize, yeah, we really don't know much about him or his handlers and things like that. And I thought it was a cool play.
Previously, what we saw, though, was the idea that Alfred wants Bruce to take this money, use it for good, to stop all this tomfoolery that he's doing, running around as the Bat. And when he thinks that Batman is going to the freaking drop, he's going there to meet up with Black Mask, he's going to take the money and do what Alfred wants. Get in, get out, because Alfred didn't learn this young enough to the point where he has to still work for freaking mercenaries and secret organizations, all these things that he doesn't want to do. Batman pretty much spits in their face, causes the war to not only continue, but ignite further. And Alfred, by the end of this, is just pissed at him and doesn't want anything
so
to
many
do with
people
him.
are going to die but also in it you have to go and even go with the idea of remembering that Alfred was pulled away from what it seemed to be him going after the Joker, and we're thinking this all ties in, and he might actually be thinking also this might help him out down the line if he gets back to that, which it seems he would be. Then he could say, Gotham's cool, we could start this, I can rely on him, and then he just ends up... I don't
got to worry about watching this interesting Batfellow anymore.
And I wonder how people think about this is, remember, his organization, whoever he works for, legit, they wanted him to kill Batman at one point, said, if he gets involved, you kill him. Then they're kind of backing off a little, but then even here, they're like, you got to get out. He's been told everything that you were doing in Gotham, it's done, get out. And he's like, yeah, I'll go out, but he doesn't right away. But yeah, it's a weird play to make and it's kind of the twist is, we thought the whole thing was, is he going to take the money from Black Mask? Well, then he does. And what is he going to do with it? He does something a little wacky, but in the end,
tries to inspire hope, but you can't do that in this world. But
again, it's like, inspire hope with $100,000, right? Inspire hope with 50. Go small at first. Don't blow the whole wad.
No
trying to inspire hope.
No surrender.
And seriously, I'm not even going to get political, but somebody's got to be on this with what that costs. That damn thing of burning the... I think he could have just made a signal for nothing and done it and had the money. But in the meantime,
in the time frame that he needed.
Well, I guess he seems to be but what I was going to say originally though is, I wonder how people think of reading a Batman who not only is not prepared, but gets duped. I mean, he ends up where this almost plays exactly into as if Black Mask knew that he was going to do all of this stuff and was just prepared to just say, I don't give two fucks about it, and I just go with it. So
this still feels like a Batman who is prepared, because everything we've seen so far, he knows things before anybody else thinks that he knows things. Even when he puts himself out here on a limb to burn the money, shove it in Black Mask's face, he intends to go and just, show the world who this Black Mask really is. Let them know what the enemy is that they're facing. Yes, he gets beaten down because they have ultimate net technology, but he is prepared for this. He can fight his way through.
Black Mask doesn't care. This is the thing. Black Mask, he doesn't even get upset that $200 million was burned because he's got trillions, it seems. He doesn't give a crap. He doesn't give a crap, and now he's just going to mess around. The idea now he's just, to me, he's messing with Batman. This idea of having a purge, and it really is the purge coming up of there's money here, whether it's true or whatever, they're going to go for it. Everybody's just going to die. And Batman it's his fault. I mean, and even Alfred said, if you just take the money, you're getting paid off, but don't get paid off. He said, use that money to then take everybody down and do it. And he just kind of blows it here almost in an FU moment. to Black Mask, who does
Never
not
compromise,
care.
never surrender.
It's like telling somebody to fuck off who just fucks off. Like, it's you're not doing anything any different. He's like, fine, you want me to do? And again, it almost feels like at the end, Black Mask is like, that was great money spent. It's so crazy, the idea that Batman thinks this is going to do something. And even Alfred's like, you just played right into their deal. You blew it. And he's mad. He wants to get out. And Batman, again, I don't know the idea of just accept saying, I wouldn't take that dirty money anyway. I wanted to do it, and I wanted to, use this signal or whatever deal. But man, you could have used that dough. A lot of people could have used that dough, but he kind of just went with it. But it's a weird issue because it's very quick. I mean, you have only a couple kind of concepts of it to go. But it's weird.
We do have a bit where we break off from the main action of Batman where, Martha Wayne goes and talks to Jim Gordon for his, mayoral trail that he's on. He's upset because Harvey Bullock is, gone with the Hill for this whole thing. He didn't think that Harvey would betray him like this, but money talks and bullshit walks. Mm-hmm. But the idea when those two talking, you and I have talked on and off air, I believe the idea where it looks like Martha and Gordon will get together at some point. And for some reason, I do like the idea going down the line where it looks like, maybe that Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon will become like step siblings at least. Maybe you could even lead to something along the lines of how she becomes a Batgirl of the absolute universe, or maybe even lovers to make it even
I thought you were going to
start.
I thought you were going to talk. I hear there's a lot of videos like that. You end up where Joseph Wolf said though. I hear.
You have to watch that with the sound off. What are you talking about? You watched those videos.
Heard of those, Eric? I don't know what you're talking about. Joseph Wolf in the chat actually said too, he is really giving the middle finger to Alfred as well. Like and again, in that Alfred was giving him advice, whether it's great advice or whatever, but said, Bruce had to figure out what he was going to do. Why not discuss this with Alfred a little? Like say, hey, what if I did this? And see what he'd say. Obviously, it seems like he'd just say, fuck that. I wouldn't do that.
Well, he has done stuff with Alfred, but he doesn't believe in what Alfred does. He's doing things his own way.
Yeah. It's weird though. Again, we don't know this Batman that much. I mean, the guy did build a big dump truck Batmobile underneath a building, so his tech deal is going. But he really could use some of this money. It just gets me. It's the idea. I know it's dirty money.
He is stead in his ways about how he's going to go about this war.
But it's weird because up until this point, we didn't really, like you said, everything's up for grabs. We don't know exactly the deal. And you could convince me easily to say, well, what's better than taking their money and using it against them? Now, in the meantime, he might be thinking also, I'm going to make this signal, but I'm also getting rid of this money. I did take $200 million from the bad guys. They do not seem to care. I think that this was one of the plays where Bruce thought that what he was doing was going to be this big middle finger, that it wasn't quite. It might not have even been a pinky. They don't care. And then you just have people dying and people getting shot and the party animals getting killed by party animals. I mean, real shit just breaks loose in this.
And I'm telling you, this is a great action scene. Even when you have that one big, party animal who, like, Batman cut his hand off previously. And
that guy. I need that guy to keep showing up, right? And loose limbs.
I'm telling you, he is just like, ready for round two. Time for some payback. And when he gets on Batman's back, tries to wrap his arms around his neck from behind, you have Batman use his, symbiote cape, whatever you want to call it at this point, to create spikes to pin him on there to the point of, let me go. And he ends up calling him sir at one point. Please let me go. And I'm like, this poor stupid idiot has to go and deal with this whole thing. I'm telling you, no matter how much you're getting paid right now, you are losing your head. You have holes somehow all through you, not lethally though, because our Batman doesn't kill people, but you are impaled. You have Vlad the Impaler as your enemy right now, and you don't need this. You go and become an accountant or something along those lines. Get out of the party animal lifestyle.
He's the Black Knight in the Mighty Python and the Holy Grail. He's just like, he's just going to be just a torso at one point. And he's also like, what's his name? In Tombstone, who always talks shit until he gets confronted and grabbed or whatever. It's that. He's like all talk, and then he's calling him sir. Then he's going to come back again for revenge.
Well,
and
he's not used to this.
He'll use a leg.
At this point, he was big and jacked. He was built. He had the party animal mask. He intimidated people. Every fight he went into previous to this, he won. So why shouldn't he think that he can still come up on top?
I'm telling you,
he's going to pound into his head a couple times, and maybe he'll go and live a decent life.
The minute you lose that hand, he's Rick now. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? I'm out. Next, he's going to be Carl, who lose the eye.
Look, I've watched some movies. Obviously, rebuild a chainsaw and put that on your stump.
Well, that would be what you would do. That would be good. And I mean, you could just go to Black Mask and say, hey, can you hook me up with something here?
Okay, you
he's
said
got
hook.
a lot of money.
You get a hook.
I think he would get a hook. And in the meantime, like I said, you got Twilight Baby with a machine gun. I don't. What is going on with them? There's a couple of. There's a guy too.
The Black
they got
Mask family
tentacles.
is an odd bit.
They got like head tentacles, but then the woman doesn't seem to. She's got a perm. I don't know. And Black Mask himself is just, I mean, really a cool visual. But beyond that, it's a cool visual. You don't really know what's going on with this guy. But yeah, a lot of the stuff going on is crazy.
A little cool bit too. It does feel like, at least to me, reading the whole thing, where Batman takes the $200 million and lights it on fire as it bats in the sky. But it feels almost like the idea of doing something that you saw in The Dark Knight, where the Joker got all of that money from all the gangs and just burned it because he didn't need it.
Here's the thing, and I'm not much of a learned guy with the movies, but even I thought when shit went bad and Black Mask is like, okay, everybody fire and things, even if that's not a scene direct, it did to me have a Dark Knight feel to it. It had a Dark Knight tone of people turning on each other and going and whatnot. But at this point, I mean, Bruce is going to have to live with the idea that he really did start now an escalated thing instead of actually stopping it.
You're saying it from the beginning that you think this is a Batman who's not prepared for the situation. Everything I've seen up to this point, it seems like he is on top. He's doing like, fourth dimensional chess or whatever you want to call whatever it's called at this point in time.
I don't know.
But the idea, I want to think that even though he got seriously hurt in this issue, he's trying to stop all the freaking holes in his body from leaking all that precious, precious life fluid out. Man, Alfred's not going to help him, but I want to think that he has prepared for this situation to come down. Maybe not getting this hurt and is ready for the second round or what's going to come next.
If I go by the movie that inspires me and reminds me of this, Little Giants, Eric, you often think of the idea where Bruce, one of the things that he isn't prepared for and can't combat, they got more money than him. Like, he has nothing. He's poor. He just got that. But he just got that. And that could have been just so much more. He could have done so much more with that. It would be like a Pee-wee team we just don't have equipment and we can't win. The next thing we get equipment, it's like, Little Rascals. All of a sudden they get that rich kid on the team. They're
what is that 90s movie? A lot like Little Giants on those lines, but it has to deal with Fat Camp. What was that one called? Do you remember?
I think that was Heavyweights.
Heavyweights.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I lived my life by.
Which then was just like that is. It's weird that Ben Stiller deal is the same character pretty much in Dodgeball, but you end up with all that going down. But I can't get past the fact that you gave the middle finger, but you could have given it better. And again, it's Scott Snyder doing eventually. What I'm saying is going to be proven false. That Batman, I planned this and he's ahead, whatever. But at this point, if it's reality, you could use that money to take them down. It really could help you out and help out some other people.
Money.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking about his poor mother who's living in the slums, right? Slumming it up.
They've always lived there. They're always like.
So what you're telling me is that somebody who's poor, they're like, look it, I don't need the money. I'm used to being poor. I think the people who are used to being poor really want money more. You don't want to be used to being poor.
See, that's the thing is, you're used to being poor and unhappy, but she's happy and poor.
Yeah. And you know what would make me happier? That $200 million.
Well, that's because you're unhappy.
Well, it wouldn't make me that happy. And she doesn't seem that happy either. Also, you could have given maybe to the campaign. Now he's getting a little late. A lot of things he could have used. The deal. He could have got some more animals for that deal. Get that crazy
for Killer Croc,
Joe Exotic, Killer Croc, and get that zoo. Maybe that's the play. That's only set up so that he can then populate the zoo again if they end up.
I'm not going to Waylon Jones' zoo because it's just going to be a reptile.
Oh, you know that his zoo, if it was Waylon, the zoo would be like one of those like roadside America, like sideshow zoos.
I don't need that.
Crazy shit with a baby, like riding an alligator on a saddle. Shit like that, like shit that is not legal, but they love it. Everybody's yelling until the baby gets eaten, but not by the crocodile.
Fine. We're gonna have Penguin giving them permits and stuff like that. Underhanded.
Yeah, underhanded.
Friends stick together.
You got a bear going around in a car
for the wild roadside attraction, exotic freaking zoo.
While the exotic roadside zoo's going and you're watching, they got some crazy animals out. A giraffe is like robbing your car. Shit like that,
That's
right?
One of the things. Like, obviously, we need to move forward with the story. You're all interested in the absolute Batman taking on his first threat, that is the Black Mask, the party animals, and seeing the connection where the Joker comes into the whole of this thing. But this issue does feel a little bit down, only in the fact that, like, I really am getting used to the idea of having those flashbacks with his friends. Seeing the idea you take his biggest rogues gallery, flip it on its ear, and say these are his best friends in the world. I want to see more of them. You don't get that here because pretty much we are focused on the falling of the Batman.
And you know what? With the idea of it being that money, and it is weird that you want to have the visual of the stacks and stacks of a bank there, Eric, as the rappers say. But it would have been a cool play to bring the Riddler back in with his tech deal and stuff like that. It would have been actually cool. Maybe we'll still get it, but at this point, it would have been cool to have like the idea of, oh man, I got you, Batman. But we realize this whole rogues gallery, they have their little bit, and they're actually like leading like a kind of a combined gang effort.
I'm telling you, it'd be weird because everybody is involved here, like, is down with Bruce and Martha, and they've grown up together their entire lives. Some are on the straight and narrow, like Harvey Dent. Some are on underhanded, like the Penguin. And like Eddie's off on his own thing doing tech stuff, but I'm sure he's doing some underhanded things, hacking into things that he's not supposed to be doing. And Wayland, he just has a gym and wants to have an exotic pet zoo, like a little underhanded with the amount of animals that he wants that are illegal. But the idea, all of these rogues gallery members could come together during this whole purge night or week or month, whatever it takes to kill a Gotham, and say, we are the extended Bat family now, even though they are. Well, again, and
I was even going to say, I thought where you were going to go
because this is going to affect everybody.
They'd have to connect themselves to Batman and not just Bruce, but I don't mind that. But the idea of, I thought you were going to say like they're going to go for the money, and I'm like, well, he could have kept some to give to his buddies, but
you never know how I'm going to finish my sentences, but you always try.
No, but I'm saying that it ends up where, again, I thought what you were going to say when I said that was, well, they don't know that Batman is Bruce, so they wouldn't be this quick. But
it seems like Eddie's, putting some stuff
that's
together.
The thing. And in the play of this money went here, there, everywhere, a Beatles song, you'd end up where maybe he'd be able to figure out. And if Bruce kept the money, like, how are you going to hide that money as well? And maybe that's one of the plays of not wanting to reveal stuff like that, because where would he keep the money and what would he do with it? How could he do
Buried in his backyard.
That deal? Maybe. That's what James Brown did to his money. He buried it in the backyard.
No, he did not. He buried it in the forest.
Yeah, well, his forest was in his backyard, kind of, faced that way. He still buried his money. What a wackadoo. But yeah, even at the point you do see, again, that Batman, they trick him, and he's like, oh my God, he is like, hey, everybody's getting shot. And then they end up dropping nets on him. And then you realize that this guy is a behemoth. I mean, he is freaking humongous. But yeah,
I don't think it took me this long to realize that.
No, I'm saying when you see him against people too, it's just crazy. And you do see as the money burns, it's kind of the cool visual of the bat signal.
But when he is taken down by the nets, he does grab a hold of Roman's leg. Plants a little tracker on that we do find out later. But Roman uses this opportunity to go in what I thought at first was actually breaking his arm. It seems like he just like pulled his arm out of the socket. Later on, Bruce is going to have to put that back in. But I thought we are really screwed right now that Bruce has a broken arm on this big ass mission.
Yeah, and so he has to run now because he's also wanted by the police for everything. So they start firing on him. He gets hit by Barbara. Barbara's driving the car down to find him, and she hits him. And then he kind of disappears.
Even before that, though, when they net him down and Roman goes and like takes his arm out of the socket, you have his little henchman there. They're taking the ears off his cow and actually stabbing him with it. They're taking the symbol off of his chest.
Yeah, they're messing with him.
They're setting him on fire. They are shooting at him. They are doing all of these things to gradually break him down, and if not, just kill him. Like I thought was happening. Like I thought Absolute Batman was a mini all of a sudden for how bad this Bruce Wayne was taking all of these hits with his own weapons, no less. But when he does finally get to fall off this rooftop building, this high rise, his cape does become a parachute that softens to fall a little bit, but now it's on to the second round where the police spot him, and now, like I said before, he's public enemy number one, and the police are going at him with mini guns on helicopters. Barbara Gordon accidentally, hits him with her car, but then when he's about to go down to the sewer, she kind of just lets him go and says, "No, I lost him. I don't see anybody." Yeah,
so that was kind of cool, and he kind of looks and talks to her a bit, and like you said, they have a connection already, which is kind of a cool play. Jack Halsey said that he could have bought a really, really big Batcopter. Is what he could have. He could have bought so much. So I think
how big do you need your Batcopter to be? Obviously bigger than a Bat Gyro, but still.
Here's the problem, and you made the sandwich. I ended up where the thing is the amount of money. Like if he ended up $1 million, doesn't seem like you throw that around nowadays in books and stuff like that. But $200 million. And he's just burning. I'm like, you could have kept a little. And that would be funny if you did have the idea where they're like,
Batman.
Well, again, you could still have the play of like, I can't believe you burned all the money. Did I? And he still has like, $3 million or something like that. But I don't think
I just like to think of the concept where it's like, okay, here's Absolute Jim as Batman. Yeah. You're spending your entire life doing all these things to avenge your father and take back the city from all the evil and corruption that takes place. The guy offers you $200 million to lay down. Okay.
Yeah. He had nothing to do with it. Well, he did, but it's still.
Take the city.
Again, I never said that what Batman but because remember what Alfred said was, it's not giving him
I'm
the
just talking about
city.
you.
No, I'm just saying Alfred says to me, listen, you do that and he stops killing people. He thinks everything's fine. And then you get the money and use that to just take them all down, everybody. Because what he said was you're going to need that money because it goes well beyond this. It's really big. You know, I think that Batman's like, I only deal with Gotham, so I don't need all. And again, I think Alfred was like, I kind of hope to get a little bit of that scratch there. I'm kind of poor, and I wanted to give my daughter something so she might like me. But in the whole play of it, it ended up feeling like the amount of money's insane. And I think that's kind of the thing that gets me. But boy, you could bring down a lot of crime with that much money. He's still going to do it. And again, Batman's not one who's going to say like, hey, I'm not going to put in the work or anything. But he could have gotten some really, I mean, just imagine the freaking dump truck that he could have had now. I think it would have been humongous. It would have.
He could afford that.
This is the thing. You had that much money. You hide a building in the dump truck instead of vice versa. You are kicking ass from then on, and you can buy yourself some gyros.
Is it bigger on the inside?
Yeah, I mean, this thing's humongous. And maybe
now,
even
the one thing I want to say, the
hire a
idea
lawyer.
that I have here, that Batman is prepared. We think we see him fail here. He's doing the wrong thing to the point where Alfred's walking out because he thinks it's an asshole dummy for pulling this stunt like this. And hopefully Batman is prepared for this and has a plan to counteract this, because we know for one thing that he has a tracker on Black Mask. How far that takes him, who knows, with the city becoming purged tonight. But I really hope that he is prepared for all things, because by the end of this issue, we see Jim Gordon, and Martha Wayne walking the streets right there, and they see all these little things laid out in the streets for people, where they open up these cases inside are guns, masks, and money, and all these things. And across the street from them, people are already, masked up, guns.
I mean, it looks straight up purge, right? I mean, it really does.
It completely is the purge at this point. I just really hope that Bruce Wayne's decision here to spit in Black Mask's face isn't the thing that leads to Martha Wayne getting killed here.
And the weird thing again is like, if you don't do that, if you don't give him the finger right then and there, you can do you can get rid of the money, you can do whatever, but it doesn't just start this shit right away. But again, this seems like, and I think that it's Scott Snyder's deal, is that this seemed to be who was preparing. I mean, you end up where it seems Black Mask just gave him that money thinking he's going to do something stupid because I have it set up, or was just going to say, screw you, I'm going to do it anyway. Because this is very quick to say, hey, everybody, there's these things going. I think
this is something like was always going to be down the pike for Black Mask. So this might have just upped this timetable a bit.
And again, one of the things that I end up where this book's a weird one, because you have Batman, and he's, big Batman doing crazy stuff or whatever.
Sure is big.
And it's pretty cool. But when you start thinking, and me and you even talked about it last or 2 issues ago, the idea like, what is Black Mask's deal? Like, I mean, he says at points where he likes to go and, cause trouble. So then that ends up creating that other side where then everything calms down. Then his work's done and he goes. But it feels weird. I don't know exactly what he's getting at. I don't know what his MO is in these going on, because he has said that he likes not chaos. He likes order and things that's what but yet if things go wrong, he just goes completely crazy with it.
That's the thing. I still think that he is backed by the Joker, and that is his
well, that would be the deal.
This is the Joker's ultimate goal. But again, Black Mask and his gang of party animals are just as enforcers.
I need more than just, hey, crazy DJ, Twi'lek baby lady going around mask and things like that. And also, I will say, if people would agree, when they open up the cases and like, hey, what's in this one? It definitely looks like the masks and the helmets from Rook Exodus. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's going to be, it does. And really good book. And I'm sure people would say.
Is that the one with the crow guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really, really good. Not the Crow, but he is Crow there. But yeah, at the end, it looks like, again, like you said, that there might be big trouble, in Little Gotham here, because
because not only am I worried about Martha Wayne dying here, because you're so used to both the Wayne father and mother dying to create the Batman. Thomas Wayne dying in this universe created phase 1 of the Batman. Maybe if his mother dies now, it's phase 2, where he's going to burn the city to the ground because of it. But it also looks like if she does die, Jim Gordon has a chance of dying as well, which might even put Barbara Gordon in her path becoming an absolute Batgirl.
Yeah, and it's just the whole thing, and I do still like it. It just ends up where it just feels like there's just a little something missing still but all the books kind of have that.
I would just say the idea is the Rogues Gallery friendship that we have. That's the only thing that's really missing for this for me.
Yeah, I think that to me, it's also the overall what Black Mask really is doing. And at this point, you could just go with he's just seeding chaos. He's trying to cause this problem, but he just seems fine with that. And I don't know. And then the whole election thing seems to be going sour for Gordon. We'll have to see. We'll have to see all
Well, even the
deal, but
idea of how we're going to end Gotham here, it almost feels like a Ra's al Ghul play as well.
yeah, it does. And we'll have to see. Alfred is weird. He's going out, but I don't think he's going to fully leave, that sort of thing. But
Well, that's the thing, is he's going to take off because he was ordered to take off. He's disgusted with Bruce Wayne at this point because of the decisions he's made, but on his way out, you know that he's going to have to see his daughter again for at least one last time.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll get an idea of, like, maybe I should stay here against the orders of whatever overlords I adhere to.
yeah, do you think she gets like hurt? Maybe she gets in a coma or
Maybe.
something and stuff like that. Because if he actually went to her and like, hey, I just want to say goodbye. Fuck you. All right, I'm out. Thanks a lot, bitch, and then leaves. Like that was a nice little visit here. But it did seem like at one point that he wanted. Again, maybe that's the play too. When he goes off, it's like he thought he was going to be rich, bitch. He didn't need to go back, and I think he did want to stay for his daughter because her big thing was you were never around and left and things.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why he got just like cocked to full cocked of saying I'm getting the fuck out of here. He might have, but
He's all
again,
cocked up.
he's cocked up. This guy's got the cocks doing the cock walk. I don't know that he's in a job though that you're allowed to walk away. Like we don't know.
I don't think so
And
either.
it feels like one of those jobs. Like you just don't walk away. But that's the weird play though, and it is intriguing, and it's fun to think of the idea where it does seem like a organization that is trying to like say take down the Joker and whatnot, but it doesn't seem on the up and up, really. It seems
Well,
very
even when
sus the way it goes.
Pennyworth was getting to the point of taking the Joker down, his handlers took him off of that project and took him somewhere else, to the point when he got to Gotham, started doing the party animal thing. Oh, that guy, he done got away and he's in the wind.
Yeah, and when you get to this point, if you just keep thinking of it like, oh, it's there to take down, like he's trying to figure out take down the Joker. Now, it doesn't feel, because it's Alfred, we know, like, MI6, you kind of go in your head with that, but wouldn't other gangs want to take down the Joker? It's like, it could be just that. We could find out that he's actually not even knowing working for Black Mask. I don't know,
Yeah.
and that would be the setup of taking the money.
Or the Joker himself.
Yeah, and all could be just the plan where, again, that's why at this point, I'm not saying that it's crazy. I said I wanted to see what people might think, but the idea of a Batman that might be being duped, but it's kind of a cool way if that is the case, that we just don't realize, oh my God, Alfred, he doesn't even realize, and he did kind of manipulate, or at least convince Bruce to do some things that Bruce might not have wanted to do, and then Bruce from there decided what he was going to do himself to kind of go with the thing. So it's kind of a cool play. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's out in the open, but it doesn't feel, I'll give Scott Snyder some credit. I don't feel frustrated like, oh man, I don't know. It feels like we don't know because it is legit part of a mystery of the whole overall deal. Some of the things like the Superman, I'm frustrated. I just want to know Superman. I want to know the things. That doesn't feel like a thing that it's
Superman going
supposed
to
to
take the money?
Yeah, really. Is he going to do that? He's going to go get them diamonds and the blood diamond mines? But even
What's
the Wonder
he going
Woman,
to say to the Tetracide?
like those things, well, he's going to say, stop, Four Killer. It just ends up where some of those two books, while I don't hate them, some people do, but I need more information. I want more information here, but I see that there's something going on, especially when I talk to you, because I was just like, take that money. I was so angry. I was just so angry. I'm like, why are you taking the money? Just take the money and do crazy shit with it. I guess you're right, though. He hasn't needed money to do crazy shit, and he does it already. I don't know. Can you build a space shuttle with that money? Just do that.
What do you need a space shuttle for? You want his ass to go to the Sly Galaxy, the Absolute Universe?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or he then goes to the moon and then jumps off the moon, comes down. It's like, look at me. I'm a badass.
Yeah,
it's like a bad guy. It's so funny to think of the idea in this book of like Batman even attempt, like, it's so ridiculous that he jumped off the moon. There are points when it goes from Bat God to just Bat Ridiculous, and that was Bat Ridiculous.
I disagree. It was on par.
You love that shit.
I love
you
it so
do.
much.
I remember because again, you've been reading comics most of your life, I hear. And when I first heard the Bat God deal, it was Scott Snyder. And it wasn't quite jumping off the moon. It was just like whatever he needed, he'd have done and whatever. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And you're like, I fucking love the Bat God. Like, Bat God is so
People hate it, but
you're like,
man,
the
I
Bat
can't
God
wait
is
to see
so
more.
kick-ass. You love that
Well,
Bat
that's the
God.
thing is people will complain about the Bat God that we had in Chip Zdarsky's like beginning of his run
Yeah.
of Batman. The idea of jumping off the moon, oh, that's ridiculous. But up to that point, if you go back and read Batman Detective Comics, Batman was failing at everything he did.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
true.
to see a competent Batman, and if I can't have a competent Batman, Bat God will work just
I just
fine.
didn't want him to lose the city every weekend. Next thing he's jumping off the moon and then lost the city. Again, when people
Man
talk,
jumped off a moon. What do you want?
we talk about Chip Zdarsky's run, and you right away you go multiverse nonsense, right? I'm starting to think now. My thing that I hated is, what the hell happened to the failsafe? Failsafe robots were just ruling Gotham for like a week and a half, and then that just got pushed aside to then just have failsafe. But nobody seemed to remember or react. The Bat family was there. They don't. At one point, Barbara was turned into a fucking
Gotham's just sitting there.
cyborg.
Gotham's just like, oh, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, well, that's true. They're like, that's the thing. You say you like Bat God, they go Bat God. Because he loses the city all the time.
Oh, God.
The Batman. These poor people, in half the time. Remember those assholes? I don't know why I called them assholes, but in the city of Bane, all they were doing was the one guy was trying to get milk, and one was walking their
his
dog.
dog?
They're getting the
Yeah.
shit beat out of them. Like,
Well,
where
that's
was the
because
Bat
you had a
God
new
then?
sheriff in town, man.
You did. Yeah. Oh, Tom King. At that point, the Bat God was nailing Catwoman on a beach dressed as Magnum P.I. Oh, God.
That's not a Bat God.
No, that was a bat and fucking stupid ass jerk. Is that right?
Oh, yeah?
Bat stupid ass jerk. I don't like that.
Batastrophe?
It was a batastrophe. I like when Chip Zdarsky actually thought that was a cool thing to go back to. These people, Eric, they just don't get it. But actually, if you do say that, I know we're on a tangent here, but why not? The idea of a Bat God, that is more of a, like, oh, you're doing something that actually has, like, actual Batman. Like, some of the shit that they pull where Batman's hugging people and stuff, it just makes
Well, that's the thing.
The Bat God
When
makes
you have
sense,
a-
at least.
When you have a bad God in the DC universe, it makes sense why he can stand toe to toe
Yeah.
with the gods of the DC universe, who are our protectors. Why he belongs on a Justice League, besides for money.
No, I actually thought it was the Slag Galaxy that got him in Punchbot in his training. But even then, I mean, legit, people love the Batman Offworld. That's 100% Bat God. I mean, the guy is
yeah.
in space just doing crazy shit.
And it was so good.
And that baby whispering, the whisper, he's whispering.
Ultimate Bat God.
He's that is. I mean, this baby looking guy whispering to 12
Whisper
billion
Black
people.
Sun. Come on, man.
Whispers. Ends up 12 billion people die, and Batman just takes it and then starts.
He takes it.
He starts
Whispering
whispering back.
Sweet nothings in that little boy's ear.
Next thing I knew,
Happy Valentine's Day.
I like that he was just going through his history. Then it was March, and it was kind
then
of
it was
still
the Silver
cold
Age.
out. I like when he's just going through things, yeah. And then next thing I know, I had a multicolored outfit, and I ended up getting powers. Can you imagine that? He just goes
Then I
through
went
all
up
that
against
bullshit.
Crazy Quilt.
Yeah, that might have been the deal. And then
What is my beginning, Whisper Black Sun?
And-
Is it year 1 or 0 year?
Yeah, it's true.
We
Yeah,
don't
really,
know
you don't
anymore.
know. We have no idea. You don't know how frustrating it is. And then he's like, and whispers like,
And is Batman year 3 still in continuity? Because Tony Zuko got out of prison in that,
Uh-oh.
but then we sent him back to prison in
8
Nightwing.
times. And then actually he's like, and then get this, under Tom King, a Gotham girl ended up beating the shit out of Captain Atom. And then whispers
He
like,
believes
I've had
that one,
enough.
sadly.
He's like, I had enough. and then they got the kryptonite, the platinum kryptonite. Yeah, that stuff sucked, Eric. That sucked. Then
Yep.
they said
And
there'd
that's
be a
why I
wedding.
appreciate
And
when
there
a
wasn't a
Bat God
wedding.
does show up.
Yeah, it is true. Bat God gets shit done. Like, there is times that'd be great if it's like Zornar leaves and then in place it's another persona that's just Bat God that is so over the top, almost like the outrageous Aquaman type persona. Like, he really gets all fired up. That's Bat God now. That'd be awesome. He's like, I'm no fucking wagon anymore, bitch. Like, that was his first thing he said, Eric. He said that to the Court of Owls.
I ain't no wagon.
For some reason, that's bothered him all along that they said he was the wagon because his name was Wayne. He's like, damn it.
It's weird, too, because I always remember it as the window, but you always bring up the wagon.
Yeah, it's the wagon. And then remember also Batmanium, that other element that they figured.
Element that
Wasn't
Wayne Powers created.
Yeah, Powers ended up, and it was like in the what was that? Like the colliders that were underneath. Oh, that stuff went nowhere.
Did we ever use anything with the Batmanium?
No, I think it was just like a crazy thing. But then then we found out that other element. Ha.
H-A.
What a bunch of bullshit. Now it's Scott Snyder, so maybe we'll get some of that cool stuff.
I don't think that was an element in the whole thing. I don't believe. I think the idea was the Joker's cell number.
Remember he saw that?
It's the letters to ha.
Yeah, no,
I
think there was something that he figured out, but that was like the big wow moment. And then at points we just got close-ups of flies. Some weird shit. Yeah, so there we go. But yeah, at the end of this, we went back.
Scott Snyder's back. We picked up some momentum again, and I'm looking forward to what Absolute Batman has to bring next,
now,
especially if we contain this artist.
And us arguing, and this is the regular artist, Dragotta, so I would assume, I guess he just needed some time off. I don't know. But when me and you were talking about it, it is one of the things I am intrigued to see if Bruce does have a plan and how that ends up working out, because it looks like shit just
and hopefully he doesn't get his mother killed.
Yeah, maybe he wants her. She's been kind of a bitch.
What is this?
Well,
it's Valentine's.
Remember,
maybe he wanted his mama
well,
dead.
maybe. Remember, he wasn't visiting, and she had that weird comment, like, he did talk to me, but he never did again. He's like, fuck this.
You think, like, maybe Batman did want his mother dead because she said that one time she was mad that he wasn't visiting.
Yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
Bitch, how dare you?
He's like, you don't say that to the Bat God.
You're on the death note.
And he's like, you're getting a little too close to that Gordon, and I kind of like him more, so I won't. Maybe he'll die too. I mean, it looks like it could be set up. It's all planned by Batman. Bat God again. Bat God's at it again. Everybody's dead. But
That's
again,
that devil.
Who do you have to save anymore if everybody's dead? You kind of can take a vacation. So maybe that's the play. But yeah, it is the idea where Batman was real. I guess I don't know what he really thought would happen with this inspiration. Would everybody run out of their house and start, like he wanted his own
in the main universe.
He wanted his own purge, but the happy purge. Like he wanted everybody to run out and hug and kiss, but they didn't do it.
It becomes a freaking musical in the streets.
No
everybody's dancing in unison.
Oh, they're but not dance fighting. They're just dancing and going all over the place. Arms. I almost hit my mic there. I had my arms shooting around.
You don't need to dance.
Yeah, Batman. But yeah, you didn't get that. But what would you give this?
Nah, Batman.
Batman. But what would you give this?
I'll give this an 8 out of 10. I think we're back on track for the Absolute Batman to be killing it. So hopefully it continues on with this type of style and progress that we're getting out of this series.
Now, I'm a 7.5 because I'm still mad that he wasted that money. But that's just me. That's personal. He didn't give me shit. That's what I'm waiting. Somehow I'm waiting for a check to show up. But actually, pay me in cash, Bruce. If you're listening, I don't want that shit traced. I'm not claiming that amount of money. I don't need to go up a bracket. You give me 50 cents and I go up a bracket, I think. But yeah, I'll go 7.5. I still do
I just want to know what the bracket is above nothing.
Well, 1, I guess. Poor. That's right. I'm striving to be poor. We allowed to say I'm homeless? We're not, right? So I won't say
no, because you're not.
No, maybe.
Home for the time being.
No, I have a house. This is hardly a home, Eric. That is commentary. I'm reaching out for help. But that is it. That is it for the deal. I hope people continue to enjoy these books because, it's cool to like some things. And we are enjoying them. It's just that at a point, you got to get going. I want to see these get bigger and bigger. And I want to see the idea of us saying storylines are cool. At this moment, really, this Batman's getting there, but the other two are just like wow moments. It's like, oh man, that was cool. We saw a cape. Oh man, the Four Killer. There's not really...
No, the Four Killer wasn't the cool part. Everything about the flashbacks is what I enjoy with Absolute Wonder Woman.
That was good. And even some of the factors that I think they're trying to make wow factors, Kelly Thompson is of like, oh, Etta Candy. Oh, Barbara Minerva. Ooh. But we don't have like a really good
They're just cameo walk-ins. The audience applause and then they calm down and they walk off stage.
Fonzie comes, woo, they're going nuts. And then he goes, hey, hits the thing, the lights go out, and he leaves. So, yeah, with all the play, though, I think that's one of the big deals. I think I need some storylines to get excited about and things like we're doing now. And we did have, again, I say that cliffhanger and that Absolute Superman that we got away from
2 issues ago, yeah.
Martha and Kent, that could be really cool, too. So we'll see what that is.
And also, where we take Christopher Smith, the main peacemaker, going forward in Absolute Superman.
Yeah, not many people talking about that deal.
No.
I told you that might be the big thing of making. You said Metallo, and then people were saying
something along those lines.
Crenshaw rhymes with Henshaw, so that's kind of a cool play, and that was a cool.
Just
deal,
an idea of all the alien technology that the Lazarus Corp has, especially with the Brainiac, under or over everybody else, being the head of it. It seems like to me the idea that you have all this going on, you have these people that you're trying to pretty much damage mentally, and with a big grudge against the Superman, make them into a bunch of cyborg Superman to fight this alien threat. Yeah.
So I think these things.
So you don't have cyborg Superman, you have cyborg Supermen.
Men, Eric. Men. You love men, so I'm down with that. Down with that deal. But yeah, I think that all the books have their own little flavor going and whatnot, and hopefully they just get better and better and get to a point where people, even if they are against them, originally they want to check them out and check things out.
Because they hear some cool stuff down the lane.
Yeah, down the Lois lane. I'll tell you, she was kind of a bitch last issue, but we'll see what goes on with that. She's crazy, that woman, that lady. But we'll see. We'll see how it is.
Did you see everybody? She put that thing in that guy's mouth.
Yeah.
She was the worst.
She was the worst. I mean, seriously, if Lois did that in the regular continuity, you'd be so upset.
Majority of your time making dirty songs. All of a sudden, you see something phallus shaped going in a guy's mouth. Like, this is the worst.
I'm not. I tell you,
pearls.
Dirty songs and shoving a baton in somebody's mouth is a little different. Dirty songs, they're snapping their fingers and dancing. They ain't dancing to a baton in your mouth. You might get it like it might be. Attitude. Well, no, and it might be one of those things that's like that's how people start experimenting in college. Like shit goes, maybe it opens up new avenues, right? That's what the deal could be. I'm not going to shame a guy who likes a baton. Also, like electrified the baton. Like that's some crazy shit. That shit that I think was what happened to Black Mass. That's why he looks like that. It's fucked up, Eric. So stop.
Crenshaw will never go and cut somebody's face just for the fun of it ever again.
Holy moly. Yeah. I don't know that. I mean,
sometimes you got to put a psychopath in their place.
Well, she arrests him after it, but the torture before was a little over the top. I mean, I don't know, Eric. It bothered me. I wouldn't want that to happen to me, but I wouldn't cut a lady like that either.
So it wouldn't happen to you then.
I mean, maybe if she talked back or something, or didn't, burnt my dinner. Who knows?
God, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, exactly. Happy Valentine's Day, bitches.
No wonder you didn't know what day it was.
Yeah, I didn't. Actually, somebody even said, not even talking about the thing, and I realized after you said the idea of tonight recording, I forget who it was. It's like, oh, man, what are you doing on Friday? I'm like, normal stuff. We're recording the episode. I just thought they were asking my schedule on Friday. Didn't realize they meant the Valentine's. Maybe they were asking me for a date. I don't know. Maybe. There's somebody online. I don't know why. Whatever, but who knows? Maybe I'm sending out weird signals. Party. I'm sending out some weird shit with my brain waves. But with that, though, thanks everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. I thought you said something else. Just to remind everybody who's listening to this post-recording, we do this live every Friday. That there is an absolute book. Must said Absolute Power again. Every time there's an absolute book, we talk about it, and there'll be times where we're going to get more books, and they'll double up and things like that, and we'll deal with that. But it is on Fridays at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just as an aside, too, we have a podcast. Some people remember that, and the podcast itself. Yeah, some people aren't even aware. It seemed, and it really shocked me.
Oh, and thank you, Jack Halsey, for the $20 super chat.
Oh, geez, thank you, Jack. Did he say? Was it him? Maybe that's for our date.
Ain't 200 mil, but thanks for a great show.
Thank you, Jack. Jack's awesome. So with all this going on and this down, we do have a podcast, and we end up talking about mostly all the books of the week. And we are talking, I'm leading to what we're doing this week on the podcast, Eric. I hear you getting impatient.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about some pretty cool books. Action Comics number 1083, Aquaman number 2, Batman and Robin number 18. I know what I'll lose my mind about on that now. Yeah. I wasn't too pleased. Batman Dark Patterns number 3. That'll be something I'm talking with my man Tom about, and it's the end of an arc that we were really getting a lot of crap for not liking that book as much. And it kind of petered out after this first arc. But you also then have Green Lantern Corps, probably the biggest book of the week. Yeah, new number 1. So we talked about that.
We love the Corps.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We also have a Patreon where you can help us out for everything we do. Patreon.com/WeirdScience. And in the whole deal of that, we have a weekly spotlight show every Thursday night. We get together, me and Eric, and talk about 2 books picked by the badass levels of the Get Fresh crew. And they ended up picking 2 bangers, Eric. DC versus Vampires, World War V, Darkness and Light, number 1. Whew, that's a hell of a title. And then
Heard you
also
short of breath there.
Yeah, I was there. Is that a short joke or just me? It's a long title, Eric. It's
Take
like
what you want.
Yeah, I'll take you. Black Lightning, number 4. We also talked about a book that Eric was so excited about, and that it's just, I'm not even going to say it's falling apart. It's like, I don't know what it's doing. It's kind of in a weird position.
I will tell you, for the finale, though, coming up next month of Black Lightning, you are going to get Grace Choi jumping in, so I'm happy to see her back.
Yeah, like we need more. Really?
For Anissa's sake, her girlfriend, you haven't seen her at all this entire time. It just felt weird because, as far as we know, coming out of Birds of Prey, she's just been hanging out with Onyx, bagging people. And
really. If I went down the line and said, okay, this is like, you have, how many pages will they deal with it? Like, there's not enough pages. There's not. We're going to end up where things aren't, I don't know. They don't seem to
or
be
this is just a stepping stone to something else.
I said it'd be crazy. And I told you before we recorded the Spotlight, I don't want to go out on a limb and like, this book is never going to fit, whatever, because I do think they might. I think they might be crazy enough to like, hey, this book's failing. What should we do? Have a sequel.
Black Lightning 2 Electric Boogaloo.
That works great for his power set.
Sure does.
Oh, yikes. Why would they do that? But there you go. The All-In, I've liked the All-In, but
we don't know that for certain, but it seems like it's something they could do.
It seems like I don't see how it can end without that. It's my issue.
It just seems, with everybody doubling down with all the side books coming out of Absolute Power about the metahuman crisis that we have going on, that we might want to branch out a little bit further to show you what the DC universe is dealing with, leading to whatever we're dealing with next.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so crazy. It's a weird book.
And Councilman Harriman coming back with the Sons of Liberty out of nowhere from this book. I'm like, you can't just end that now and never talk about it again.
They just
had
the
Blue Earthers.
Yeah, they had him come back just to say he's back. Like nothing. Like that core, Eric.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. If I had to load up, but I actually have a special song to play out here that's a little wacky. You'll hear it's more for Gray.
It's just for Gray. That's all it is.
And just to point out, as we're doing this, it's about 8:17. Actually, it is 8:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this live, I will end up, or you can look it up, Wakazashi's Tea House. Look up, I'll be on his channel later tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're
telling everybody what you know about the
We're going to be talking
movie.
about the Avengers movie. And it's not just me. He said there is, but then he did scare me because I said, panel, and then I went in and he's like, oh, it might just be me and you. I'm having problems getting people. I'm like, oh no, now we're in trouble. Now it's just,
you don't need me to carry, do you?
No, what it is you need quippy Jim you don't need heavy lifting Jim when it comes to any sort of movie. It's gonna all swirl in my head. And also I was planning on, after we're done here, I'm going to bed for a couple hours because I'm really tired. I should probably watch. I should probably watch the movie, but. Probably. Maybe
it's a good movie.
Well, I'm going to put it on my tablet. I'm going to put the tablet underneath my pillow Osmosis. I'll get it all.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, it'll work like that movie Osmosis Jones. You love
Is that how that movie went? I didn't watch it.
No, it was more about diseases and stuff. It was actually pretty good. I liked it. I think that's a hidden gem, that movie. Like you're a hidden gem, Eric. That's
I'm in your face with it.
I think our podcast is a hidden gem. I'm telling you, when people are like, oh man, great, it got me. They were being nice, but it just like, oh man, they didn't know that we had like 20 episodes. Oh well. We haven't missed a week, so you can always find us. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. And if you aren't aware, it does come out every Sunday night. We do have early access Saturday for the Patreon. That's another reason to join the Patreon. All that is in the show notes, including
and
links
a ton of other shows.
Yeah, we have a ton of shows, but also and a ton of shows with people like Gray and Gray and Zach, my man Zach, Eric, and Eric and
Simon.
That's just names. Tommy.
Yeah.
Actually, I just made that up, but there is Tom. I don't know if he goes by Tommy. He might be mad at me. Silvio, do that one show with him, and Federico. That's a
lot of different shows on the Patreon.
Yeah, but we have like
not just DC, Marvel, indie,
manga,
stuff that you want, you can find over there.
Older stuff, and when people say, and also an exclusive indie review show.
Exclusive,
an exclusive weekly indie podcast. And we decided to get smart with it. That's going to be recorded on Friday when we can actually get books. That's a good idea.
That. I was like, that's a good point. They should do that.
Yeah, well. I, at one point, had a lot of review copies and things like that. That doesn't seem to be the case. I think we got dissed. I think they stopped sending the stuff, but I don't know.
I think you probably did something.
I actually think that they think we didn't do enough. I think it's one of those.
Possibility,
you know what I mean? It's like they don't realize that we do the stuff, but it's exclusive. It's exclusive to the Patreon. So we'll see.
That's Fear Monarch Stars in the chat. Exclusive Ghost Machine podcast.
It is. That's because that was all I was getting. And so we were doing that, but now we're going to change it up. And now it'll exclusive Image comics out. Now we'll see. We'll see what's going on. The problem is that Zach wasn't up to, I was going to say up to speed. He wasn't caught up in a lot of things that I ended up reading.
He's a little slow is what Jim's saying.
No, I'm not saying that, but we do like the Ghost Machine stuff. I just said, poor Zach. It had nothing to do with some of the Mark Miller stuff that I wanted to talk about. He didn't read, and it was tough for him to jump in. Something like a Nemesis was easy. That's just rootin', tootin', killing. So, but with that, that's it. That is it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us live. Thanks, everybody, for listening in general. And check out the show notes, the description for all the links to Weird Science stuff. But, Eric, what do we say at the end of the Absolute Podcast?
We're closing the Omega Portal. And until next time, keep it absolutely weird.
「感動して感謝しました」「本当に大好きです」「私は普通の男ではありません」「私はもう本性の愛です」「私にからかわないでください」「そうしないとあなたは消えてしまいます」「私は普通の男です」「でも私はあなたを殺します」「だからそのまま受け取ってください」足元に注意した方がいいよ準備をしてくださいフォローしないと大変なことになりますよ私に伝わらない私はあなたを殺します私は日本の愛ですあなたは警告されました
There you go. That's a song about Gray knowing karate and kicking everybody's ass.
If you say so.
I have like 50 versions of it too. And one of the versions though, it's really cool, but it's slow, and that one's kind of a faster deal. It's weird too. I worked on it to get some of the words to rhyme, which it took a while. Took a while to figure out what Japanese words rhyme.
I'm saying though, how do you do that though? Do you rhyme English or do you rhyme Japanese?
No, I did the English and then got the thing, listened to the pronunciation and then changed things to try to find something. It took me a while.
Because I'm always curious about that when you have like, songs in different language and stuff like that. Are they rhyming the song from English, or are they rhyming it in their own language, or does it not matter?
Like there are some rhymes there, but the rhymes that you hear in that are that they say the same word again. That was kind of how I kind of got it, but I have a lot of versions of that. But yeah, it talks about Gray's a Japanese AI, and watch out, he'll kill you because he knows karate. And I wanted him to hear it. When he heard it, he didn't quite. It was too fast for him. So he's playing it for his wife. Yeah, it's a crazy deal. Yeah, I have a bunch of songs that I made, but yeah, we'll be going. We're still on the the YouTubes. But thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you all very much.
I am so tired. I'm gonna go.
Oh, yeah?
I don't feel good, Eric. I'm gonna
No?
go, and now I feel bad. I gotta take my dog
Aw.
out, and I'm going to have some dinner, and then go to sleep for like an hour and a half. Gray already sent me the link, though. It's raring to go. I should ask him. You want to join in, Eric? You're
No, I'm good.
open invite. You could be there. You know the adventures.
It's Valentine's Day, Jim.
Yeah. Is it? It is.
Yeah.
Oh, and also
Yeah.
I got upset because I had a Sus Records deal. I put it up and messed up and accidentally put up the wrong song, and it ruined my whole day. Ruined it. And it was like my 80s song, and I put up the video of that, but accidentally put the song from yesterday on there. And thank God somebody said something, and then I realized that it ruined like 3 hours of Sus Records prime time. I know everybody's really worried. It's because I was doing something else that I ended up saying I would do, and so I was trying to get it together without listening, but I didn't look at
Get it together.
Yeah, it was bad. But that's it. You thought Jack thought it was the filthy song. It's like the most non-filthy song. It's basically so wholesome, this song, and the idea that Gray moves from England to Japan. He's very impressed with it. Well, then he's killing people, but yeah,
Jim couldn't kill his rep.
Well, that was the thing. It ended up and then he meets his wife, but then if you mess with him, he knows karate and he'll kill you. That's what, at one point it just says that, and then in the chorus, it's just like goofy words like, "Hey everybody, let's go, let's go. Hey everybody, let's have fun." It's just ridiculous, but I like it. I like to hear it, and if we had more time, I'd play the other version that I like really a lot, because it's like a post grunge, like late 90s, like almost like a Weezer feel, but it's Japanese, but it's a Japanese girl singing. So
I was trying to do an Offspring song, could not get that style.
Yeah. I was getting some good results, and then I spent way too much writing in Japanese. So it was
As it happens.
It was crazy, and that's why, if anybody's wondering, if you're on the Patreon, why did the Patreon spotlight come out so late? It's because I was doing the thing till 2 a.m. And then I ended up like, oh man, I got to do it. Gray was up. He was heading to work. Like, actually, I think he was at lunch and he's talking to me. And I wanted to ask him, but I wanted it to be a surprise because it was so
can't believe
cool.
you didn't edit all that stuff out at the end of the freaking
Patreon
spotlight.
I was too tired for that. Like, what do you think I'm going to do with that? Like, yeah. So did you hear? Did you hear it, or you checked to see if I edited it out, or did you check to see if I put your song in?
No, I was checking to see if you like edited that bit out because it went on forever.
Oh, it went on. Like now. That is the deal. Now I'm loading up the other song. We're going to end with the other song here. I think you'll like this one. But it's more of a low-key deal. And I think that people might enjoy it. But again, it's all about Gray knowing karate and being Japanese AI and, killing people. So that's wholesome, right? Here we go. But this will be it, and then we'll head out.
です されました